What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Thanksgiving edition of Keeping It EPL. What a weekend we had, Matt Sells. What a weekend we had.
Yeah, that's one way to put it.
And it only got worse for a certain team this week as well, the Champions League.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on there, but
Did you see Pep's head after the game?
yeah, like he was scratching his head like with his nails.
Looks like he got into like a fight with a bear.
Yeah. Well, when you're up 3-0 and you give up 3 goals in 20 minutes to Feyenoord, which, by the way, is also Slot's ex-team.
Correct.
So that's going to be fun for what we talk about later, which is the big matchup of the weekend.
Correct.
But yeah, what a interesting downfall Man City is going through right now. And it doesn't get any easier because, of course, the big game this weekend is at Anfield against Liverpool. Liverpool could go 11 points clear of Man City. But they wouldn't be, in my opinion, clear 11 points in the table because other teams can jump Man City. We'll go over that in a little bit. But, I mean, if Liverpool win this game, you got to think they're going to win the Premier League. Like,
is it too early to call the season done?
I don't know.
Like, is this Verstappen in F1 winning halfway through a season? Like,
yeah, it's feels similar to that. Because they'll be 9 points clear though of either Chelsea.
Well, let's see if Chelsea. So Liverpool's on 31, Man City's on 23. If Liverpool wins, they're up to 34. If Chelsea wins, they'd go from 22 to 25, so they'd be 9 clear of Chelsea.
9 clear. 3 wins and losses.
And Arsenal could theoretically win as well as Brighton because they're all not playing each other.
Mm-hmm.
So they could all be up to 25, 9 points back of
3 wins.
Man City could drop to like 5th.
Yeah. Now, even a tie. Even a tie. I think it's a must win for Man City. I don't think they can even afford a draw against Liverpool. I think it's a must win because even a draw, then they could still get overlapped by 3 teams. And so here we are.
Not where we thought we would be.
Not where we thought we would be at all. And again, just a collapse late in that Champions League game.
Yeah, by the way, that's the first time ever in the history of the Champions League that a team has been winning up 3 goals in the 75th minute and hasn't won.
That is crazy.
First time in any level of any sort of Champions League.
That is crazy.
Game.
That is,
and I think it's the first time in, I think I saw 31 years that Man City's been up by 3 goals at any point in the game and hasn't won.
Well, he's breaking all of his streaky records that he hasn't broken that are on the negative side this year so far. So
somebody asked
why not
the 3-player swap at the 75th minute, and he goes, "I didn't think I had anything to lose."
Yeah, like just your scalp,
just the game. Just the game, sir.
And they got absolutely annihilated by Spurs 4-0 this last weekend. Just not good. I mean, they started.
By the way, thanks, Brennan. I'm glad you found the goal, but could you have? Didn't really need it though. You blew the bet.
You blew our bet because we had under 3.5, and that last goal was pointless. But hey, that's what happens. Man City started off the game really, really well against Spurs. Really well. They had control, and then
the result was good. News that happened after, not good. Not good.
For Spurs or for Man City?
For Spurs.
What happened? Was there an injury? I don't.
Yes.
Oh, who was
dude
that?
Who's a legend who should get a medal?
Tell him.
Vicario.
Oh, the goalie. That's right. Sorry.
Spurs goalie. Goalkeeper. Guglielmo Vicario.
He had a broken foot or something.
Broken ankle. He played for 60 minutes on a broken ankle.
And had some great saves, by the way.
Yeah, he did, because at points those saves were required to keep the game in Spurs' favor. Right. Yeah. The scoreline looks like, hey, you could have let a couple. No, when they happened, he made the first save of the game.
Yeah,
to
no, he
keep
did. Yeah,
to keep Spurs even at 0-0.
yeah,
But he played on a broken ankle for 60 minutes at Man City and then required surgery because at that point, when you break your ankle, you basically need surgery anyway.
yeah.
So just
Been
play
there,
on it
been
and
there,
move on.
done that personally.
Yeah.
But what a
So
legend! What a legendary game, though.
yeah, the only problem is the backup keeper for Tottenham is not very good.
Well, maybe they could spring for Kelleher in the January window. He's going to
I
be
don't know. I
a.
think David De Gea right now. He's
Is he
got 5
still?
clean sheets.
Is he still alive?
Yeah, he's goalkeeping in Europe. He's got 5 clean sheets.
Oh my goodness. Well, there's a lot of good goalkeepers out there right now, which is like the year of really good young goalkeepers. So I'm sure they'll find someone.
Heck, you know what? Why don't you go take Hugo Lloris back from LAFC now that MLS is done?
There you go.
You can go get your former keeper back.
Yeah, he's still alive too.
He's playing for LAFC
I know that's that's the retirement league.
or Galaxy. One of
That's
them. He's
the
playing for
that's
one
the
of them.
that's the Premier League's AARP league is MLS. That's what it is.
I mean, it's working for Messi.
Yeah, it is. And now he's so old. He's so old that his former teammate, who also played for Liverpool, Javier Mascherano, is now his coach.
That's true. That's true.
I think is yeah, he's older but barely. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
So obviously Man City, and we talked about this last week, and I wanted to mention this on this show. We kind of said, hey, there's a problem with Holland. And the problem with Holland is he's too one-dimensional.
Yeah, they brought it up on the
Yep. And I was like, do they listen to our podcast? Because that's exactly what I said.
They brought it up on the broadcast. They said,
Mhm.
you know, they actually the announcer said, I kind of wish they had a different scoring option on their bench they could bring in to
They don't.
force Tottenham to have to change their defensive shape because they said, what Holland's going to do. Stopping it is a different story.
Yeah.
But what his approach is. And so because of that, you can just put 2 dudes and make everybody else beat you.
Mm-hmm.
Which is what people are doing because nobody else is beating them at the moment, right?
Yeah, and he's not getting the touches, he's not getting the in balls that he used to, because the Man City midfield defensively
is
is
terrible,
absolutely bad. So if they're constantly running back and losing balls like they are, then they can't get balls into the box.
Correct.
And then Holland's frustrated, so he's getting wide open chances and pushing it 20 yards above the goal. And it's yeah, and there's no backup. There's nobody on that bench that could come in and be a number 9 that's a little bit faster, a little bit wider, nothing. And so you're kind of stuck here. Obviously, in the January transfer window, they're going to make some moves. They clearly have to. They need a new midfield presence general, but who? Okay, you're going to replace Rodri with who? You would need 2 people to replace Rodri.
Yeah, he's the Ballon d'Or winner. I mean,
literally just got awarded the best player in football in the world. So,
yeah.
it was kind of tough to watch, man. And I'm a Liverpool fan, and I was happy, but at the same time, I was like, man, this is rough, But a couple years ago, I put it when Virgil van Dijk was up for the Ballon d'Or 2. He lost it, but he won a bunch of other awards, and he was one of the best players in the world. When he got hurt, when I think it was an ACL, and he was gone for that season, Liverpool were terrible. Their defense was terrible. When you lose a player of that quality who's such a big presence,
yes,
it's hard to recover.
Not to mention that Rodri sees passes that others just simply don't see. It's not that he's so much better at the passes; he attempts passes that others don't even think to attempt.
Correct.
And that's what played Holland open. And
he has great
it also
instinct.
doesn't help that Foden's not getting on the field because he's not scoring and has seemingly lost all of his.
He's not doing anything. And
Savinho
Jack Grealish
is taking a lot longer to adjust to Premier League play than I think anybody thought he would. I mean, he's 20 years old, so it's not only a playing style shift, it's also a culture shift because he's Brazilian and now he's moved to Manchester, which is, world's different. So
just a little.
just a little. So I'm kind of hoping that Chelsea and Arsenal keep this up. Well, I mean, I could use Arsenal.
I think Arsenal's getting healthy again right now. And I think they're going to be going a nice run. Also looking at their schedule.
Yeah.
So I think Arsenal's
As a
going
Spurs
to
fan, I could use Arsenal kind of falling back a little bit. I'll accept Brighton going up. Obviously, if
yeah.
Tottenham can weather this, I don't know how they do because
Yeah.
their
Well,
keeper's
they're
out.
getting healthy, Arsenal, and when they're healthy, we saw what they do towards the end of the season, like they did last year. So,
Right.
I'm not worried about them. Chelsea, I still have some question marks, but they're ticking a lot of the boxes that we talked about at the beginning of the season about having that fluidity, having that teammanship. Like getting to know each other more because they're constantly players coming in and out of that squad. But they've been playing really good football. They have the same starting almost.
Yeah, the only switch is
11.
Jadon Sancho now can't get time at Chelsea,
Yeah.
so he
Yeah.
may be gone in the
Yeah. But they're
January.
playing good. They're playing well. They had that they had a 2-1 win over Leicester City over the weekend. Leicester obviously the news there firing their coach, which is your favorite, your boy.
I mean, can we just? It's a little odd though. I mean, I know I've said some things about Steve Cooper on this podcast. He has the worst. Before this year, he had the worst winning percentage of any manager in Premier League history who had managed at least 50 games.
That's a great stat.
Yeah, that's why they canned him at Forest, and people are like, but we liked him. Okay, but his style of play is terrible. Like he's a championship league manager. Like his style of play works in the lower level, and then when you get to the Premier League, it just does not have the style and bite and technicality you need
Right.
to win consistently in the Premier League.
He would be a really good coach for a national team. When you have time in between tournaments, when you have time,
Yeah,
that's kind of what the Champions League is too.
it's a
So
it's a possibility. So, now I will say that I think Leicester have been playing pretty decently.
yeah, I mean they got one against Chelsea at
Like
home.
they're out of relegation. Now,
Yep.
granted, they are 1 point better than 18th, so
Yeah.
they're out, but like 1 week away. But I think also his comments about the refs, because he went off on the refs
Mm.
after the game and basically said there was a bias and that's the reason we didn't do well and what like that's kind of an old song and dance there, Steve. Like, maybe your players just didn't take advantage. Like, I watched that game. Your players were not on the ball like at all. The
Yeah.
first 25 minutes was entirely played in your 18-yard box.
Yeah. And without any counter opportunities whatsoever.
Right. You cannot win a game if you spend literally a third of the game in your 18-yard box defending the opposition.
And a good one at that who knows how to score goals. That's not going to.
And by the way, you're lucky you weren't down 10 men.
Oh yeah. There
Because
was
the
almost
challenge on Cole
that
Palmer should have been a red.
that should have been a red for sure. That was
I mean, cleats up on the Achilles with no shot at the ball late. It was the second time the guy had gone after Cole Palmer. Should have been a red. So you're lucky you weren't down a man. And you're sitting there criticizing the refs.
Yeah. Leicester new coach.
Again.
Who do you think?
Again, right? Because didn't Chelsea take their last one?
Who?
Didn't Maresca come from Leicester?
I think so. Yeah. So did Leicester announce who the new coach is yet or no?
I don't think so. I think they have an interim.
The
Right
interim
now.
soon. So there's some interesting names out there. David
Look,
Moyes is
Garrett
one.
Southgate.
David Moyes.
Garrett Southgate's got an opening in his schedule.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens there. That's kind of a job. That's an interesting job that you're going to get a David Moyes, I think, in there or someone like
Probably.
that, who is not doing anything and just knows how to get the best out of these bad teams. What did you think of the debut of Amarin for Manchester United? Obviously, not the result you'd want in a 1-1 nil against Ipswich, or a 1-1 draw. Sorry, I keep on saying nil. I got the nil up in my head. But what did you think or you saw from the team there? I didn't see much that was different, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, well, okay. So in fairness, it's too early to judge, right?
Yeah.
Dude got 3 practice sessions with his team before that game.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, and it's a complete change up from what Ten Hag brought who was playing guys out of position for a while. Now they got to go back to their normal position and get back used to it, and then also learn the new system. Um, he's going to take some time to figure out who fits where exactly. And I'm not going to say Ipswich isn't like the easiest matchup. They are very
It's
stout
true.
team defense, like a very stout team defense. I know the goal differential isn't really in their favor. It looks bad from a couple of bad outings, but generally speaking, they have a very solid team defense. So I thought in the second half of that game, both teams were pretty even. I
Yeah.
thought Ipswich outplayed them in the first half of that game.
Now he did go with the 3-4-2-1 formation for Man United, which I thought was interesting.
It's kind of what he does, though. Like,
Yeah.
people say it's a 3-4-3. If you watch it, it's kind of more of a 3-4-2-1
With Rashford actually playing up front in the
Yeah,
center, unlike Ten Hag
I
would say,
will say
Rashford,
that
why don't you go play left today? What? Why
that
do you
was
go
a
out left?
that was a nice goal from Rashford, a minute and 20 seconds in. But after that, I didn't
Yeah.
see more
No,
than a couple of really good attacking opportunities.
one thing that he has been good at is getting the best out of his players, and they
Yeah,
got thrashed in the Champions League this week, by the way, after he left. Like, they absolutely thrashed. So I think that's going to be good for Man United, but I still think they need to maybe get rid of some players this season and get some new ones in for next year and kind of start over. Because how long has Bruno Fernandes been there? Marcus Rashford, these players that have been on this team for so long, yet
yeah,
nothing's happened from it. Nothing. They've
correct.
had one Champions League in the last 5 years.
Sounds about right.
I mean, it's just something needs to change, and hopefully he can bring in the right players to do that, because it's just not working here at all for Manchester United. And I mean, I don't think they're going to get even into a spot for any type of tournament other than the Premier League and whatever the dumb cups that they play. But yeah, I liked it at first. I was like, okay, new formation actually has Rashford up front. I like it. He's playing up front. They don't have him going out
Yeah,
wide all the goddamn time. And he scored the goal. And I was like, cool. And then it just kind of got kind of blah. But again, we'll wait and see another game before that happens. My big winner of the weekend was what I called on this show. West Ham United going
yes,
to Newcastle and winning 2-0. I get to say nil this time.
yep.
And it was kind of got to have it game. I felt it in my heart, in
That
my
was the
blood.
best game. That was the best game we've seen from West Ham all year,
It was. It
and it's not
definitely
even
was.
close.
So maybe they just have to travel out of London to play good. I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know. But they played well. Newcastle did start off strong, but then a goal out of nowhere in the 10th, and then from there it was just pure, pretty much dominance from West Ham going forward. Our Bowen did not get a goal. He had a chance, wide open.
He had an assist.
He did have an assist, but yeah, we'll have to see how that all plays out. So, quick look at the table. We already kind of talked about the top. So after the tie from the 22-pointers, we go to Tottenham, who moved up to 6th, and Nottingham Forest is at 7th by goal differential. It's a lot. Plus 14 for Tottenham, plus 2 for Nottingham Forest.
Well,
But shout out to Nottingham Forest for being above
when you've
the
literally
0 line.
picked up what 4-0 Everton, 4-0 Man City, 4-1 Aston Villa.
Mm-hmm.
That's what 11 of the 14 in the goal differential in 3 games.
Mm-hmm. And they've only given up 13.
No, yeah, well,
So
that's about to change.
they scored the most goal in the Premier League now,
Yes,
Tottenham, but but plus 16 for Liverpool is the best. But obviously they give up the least. So there you go. Aston Villa, who's just been kind of blah. They have one win in their last 6. Matt Sells. Aston Villa has one win in their last 6, 2 losses, 3 draws.
I don't think they were ready for Champions League and how much it adds to your schedule. And
it is. Yep.
They're not as deep. Like, they had a great run, right, and a very good season, and they deserved to finish 4th last year. They were quality. Problem is, they're not as deep as you need to be to withstand.
They're not deep. They're not. I mean, they have a great striker that could come off the bench in Duran, but
Yes,
that's it. I mean, you need defense, midfielders. You need people that can sub in and out when you're having midweek games. And now
you need basically an alternate roster that you can put out there that's still going to be okay.
So they have a game midweek today.
Correct.
Then they have a game this weekend. And then they had to go midweek next week again. And then you got the grueling Christmas schedule, which is
the December games start midweek.
So
like
this is really, and they had an opportunity. I think Aston Villa, we're going to see a little bit of a slide here in these next few weeks, just from pure tiredness from these guys not used to this type of games one after each other. Fulham, after getting shellacked by Wolves, geez, at home, dropping down to ninth, which is crazy. Newcastle sitting there at 10th. Brentford, who, come on, boys, you can't beat Everton. 0-0 draw. Hate that. Man United at 12th. Bournemouth. West Ham going up to 14th. Woo. Everton with their draw at 15th, but still in the relegation battle, I would say, even with 11 points. Because the Wolves.
But I would say, let's point out something here real quick. You realize that Man City is equidistant from Liverpool to West Ham?
Yeah, because Manchester's like right in the.
No. I mean, in the points in the table.
Oh, I was gonna say they're equal distance.
They are 8 back of Liverpool.
Oh yeah, you're right.
They are 8 ahead of West Ham, who's 14th. So that's a pretty packed mid-table.
No, yeah, that's very, very. You are right. That is very packed.
Chelsea at 22 has 22 points on the year. They are 9 back of Liverpool, which means they are closer to West Ham in 14th than they are to Liverpool in first.
So far this season, we've had some shocking wins. We've had a lot of come from behind 2 goals to win. With teams we thought that started off terrible, like Everton and Wolves. Wolves are now winning games.
I mean, they had to at some point, right?
And these teams are just beating each other, and all that does is help Liverpool earn the title quicker. It's crazy, but it's been a fun year, I will say. But from Everton down, we have the relegation battle. Leicester, who's now looking for a coach. The Wolves, who were last, and now they're out of relegation because of the goal differential. Because even though they've given up so many goals, they've scored 28 goals.
Yeah, they've scored 20, yeah.
Oh, 20, sorry. They've given up 28, scored 20. So they're doing something right recently there for the Wolves. Ipswich, Crystal Palace at 19, who still surprisingly don't know how that's happening. And Southampton, just ouch.
Ouch town population, bro.
Yeah, I know.
4 points.
4 points. Just 1 win and 1 draw. 10 losses for Southampton.
Here's my question: when do we start talking about is Southampton going to break the record for the least amount of points scored?
I mean, they have to get some wins soon, but
in the record, like 10 points.
Yeah, I think it's like 10 or 11. I think something like that.
38 games, right?
Yeah,
they're through a third of the season with 4.
Yeah,
so they're kind of flirting with it.
Well, they've only scored 9 goals.
Yeah, that's a problem.
That's a problem, and they've given up 24.
Almost as many as They've scored 1 more than Liverpool's allowed all year.
That will tell you why they're 20th at the table and not first. But I've switched my tune.
They have almost exactly the inverse goal for and goal against that Liverpool has.
I switched my tune. Now I switched from Southampton to Brentford. If Brentford is now
they've allowed 24 goals, which is how many Liverpool has scored, and they've scored 9, which is 1 more than Liverpool's allowed. So it's almost an inverse from 1 to 20 in the goals for and against.
All right, well, let's jump into this next week here before we go into a crazy schedule of games midweek.
Yeah, I don't feel like betting this week.
No? Okay, then let's just pick the games.
Yeah, I kind of just feel like we need a little bit of a reset. We've kind of been
just even
treading water.
Yeah,
for a bit. So I kind of want to watch the games and reassess and see, because the mid-table is so packed.
It is.
I kind of want to take this week and
okay. Well, let's just give picks then this week.
Yeah, we'll just pick them without bets attached. If you find some, and
good for you. Brighton, Southampton at American Express Stadium. We just talked about how Southampton is terrible at scoring goals. They have the least amount of goals in the league. Every single statistical category is doubled up by Brighton in this one as
Yeah,
far as
see, we
average
said that.
goals,
We
average
were
goals
so sure
scored.
that Liverpool was going to keep a clean sheet, and then Liverpool escaped.
Yeah.
Escaped with a
The
that
one
penalty was.
the one counter attack was a really good play, counter attack. The
Yeah,
penalty was iffy. That shouldn't have been a
the
penalty.
penalty was
And
heavy as heck.
yeah, but yeah, that I mean, it should have
Like,
been
nice
three
shot, Mo
three
Salah,
one.
but you shouldn't have been in a position to take it.
Yeah, that's true. And then that handball was like one of the clearest handballs I've ever seen in my life, though. And he was like, "Oh, it hit my chest, it hit my arm," but he clearly went back and went doink.
Yeah,
um, I mean, Brighton wins this game. I think they win
yeah,
this. I think Southampton will give them a little bit of
yeah,
a little bit of oomph. I think like a 2-1 is probably something I can see here.
probably.
A 2-1 here, but we all know how good Brighton is at home. Southampton on the road, not so great. Although they're not so great in general. Southampton has only given up one clean sheet so far, so expect goals from Brighton. If I had to predict this game, I would predict it 2-1 to Brighton. Brentford.
I
Brentford.
mean, Leicester's got no coach.
Yes. And it's at home for Brentford, a really tough draw that they should
Yeah,
have won.
G-Tech Stadium has been pretty good for Brentford.
Yeah, I know. It's great. And when they don't score a goal last week, I think they score goals this week. I think it's a
It has
multiple
been the stadium with the most goals this season at
correct.
it.
I think
So
if I had to make a pick, I would actually pick Brentford to win by 2 or more in this one.
I'd say
Um,
so. You're getting minus 143 isn't terrible.
yeah, to win by 2 or more.
Well, no, I mean just outright.
Oh yeah, and the outright's nice too. I just think this is going to be a good old fashioned whomping, if you will.
Brentford to
Um,
win by 2 is exactly 2 is plus 400.
yeah, but I want 2 or more because I think they could put 3. I just everything matches up to the offense of
Yes.
Brentford against a Leicester team with a new coach and very very Swiss cheese like in the back four. So I
Love
like
it.
Brentford big in this one. This is a very interesting game, and I kind of like this to be a draw, to be honest. We moved to Selhurst Park, Crystal Palace, and Newcastle. Newcastle just coming off that loss at home against a West Ham team that needed it more than anything. Well, now Newcastle kind of needs this more than anything. However, so does Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace at home has been tough this year. Not a lot of goals scored at the good old Selhurst Park this year in London. Newcastle driving all the way down south. That's like driving from San Francisco to LA, but they have to drive all the way down south and play Crystal Palace. So I kind of like this to be a draw. Now, last year in this matchup, it went 2-0 Crystal Palace and then 4-0 at St. James for Newcastle. But before that, 2 straight draws between this matchup at both
Yes, but
0-0.
was the game at Crystal Palace last year in the second half when Crystal Palace was rolling?
They won 2-0 last year in this
I know,
match.
but
Yeah.
was that game the second game? Like, was it in the
Yes.
second half of the season?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, so that changes things a little bit because Crystal Palace was rolling.
I like this to be a draw, or like a 1-1 draw, I think, if I had to put my stamp on it.
The draw is less. Is the draw less? But no, okay. I was reading it wrong for a second. I thought the draw was less money than
No, the draw is plus
plus
260.
260.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see that. I could see a draw here because both teams struggle to score. They may get 4, 5, 6 chances each if they put one of those in. Plays to a 1-1
Each.
draw.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You like it? You like the draw here? I like the draw
Yes.
as well. Nottingham Forest, Ipswich. This is the game everybody has been waiting for.
So here's my thing with this. I don't know the injury status of Morgan Gibbs White.
True.
He had played 2 games ago and then he missed last week when Forrest didn't look very good again. And that changes the absolute dynamic of the midfield. Elliot Anderson is dealing with a foot injury too because he's normally the sub that comes in if Gibbs White can't go. And Elliot Anderson's been great in the midfield too. If those 2 guys are out, it could be a little bit of an upset with Ipswich pulling it out.
Why I say the game that everyone's been waiting for, the last time these two teams played in the Premier League. It wasn't even called the Premier League, but
Correct.
it was in 1994. So 20 years ago.
30.
30 years ago. Jesus, man.
And
30 years ago.
Was it the Premier League? It just started, right?
I think it was just the English. Maybe it was Premier League by then.
I think
Close.
the switch happened in like the early 90s, went
Yeah,
from
yeah.
like first division to Premier League.
So yeah, 1994, Nottingham Forest won 4-0 at home, and Nottingham Forest won 1-0 at Portman Road, Ipswich, earlier that season. So not that matters.
Excellent.
It's just fun little history lesson there for everybody.
Excellent. None of those guys are still playing, and some of them may no longer be with us.
I don't know, man. I'm 38. I mean, that's
I mean,
48, 58 years old for 20-year-olds, I guess. I don't know.
you
But
were
yeah.
35, and now 30 years later, you're 65. It's possible. So I will say it's if Gibbs White or Elliot Anderson are playing for Forest, I think it's Forest winning.
I think Forest does
those
win this
guys
game.
are out, I think it's Ipswich could pull one off here.
I think Ipswich has only not given up a goal in one game so far this season. The chances
Also, we need
created.
Chris Wood starting. They didn't start Chris Wood last game
Yeah,
for
yeah.
Taiwo, which is fine. It's a different look against a more physical Arsenal defense, but it did not work.
That makes a little bit of a difference. 1.83 the chances created per match for both teams. Average goals conceded 1.08. Obviously, we know Nottingham Forest has a good defensive record. 1.92, an average goal scored 1.25 to 1.08 with Ipswich. Ipswich is kind of that little feisty team that just sticks around and gets a goal when you least expect it to get the draw. I think Nottingham Forest wins this game, though. As long as Chris Wood is in the lineup. I think a goal is in it for Nottingham, and I don't think a goal is in it for Ipswich in this one.
If Forest defense can get back to doing what they've been doing prior to the Newcastle and Arsenal games, I think it should be Forest winning pretty easily, much to the chagrin of my daughter, the Ipswich fan. But we'll see, because Morgan Gibbs White does like his lack of being in the midfield does change things substantially for Forest. It makes them an entirely different side.
It does.
The movement isn't there. The openness of the wings isn't there when Gibbs White isn't in the lineup. So we'll see. I expect an update later in the week for that.
A matchup that I'm glad we're not betting this week: Wolves and Bournemouth. This would clearly be my draw of the week. It's plus 180 for Wolves, plus 145 for Bournemouth, with a plus 260 draw in the middle. I'm expecting draw, but
that's fine. Yeah,
but based on current form at home, the Wolves have been putting up goals lately.
Yes,
and Bournemouth has not.
Yeah, Molineux's a tough place to play.
I would kind of lean that the Wolverhampton Wolves win this game, and it's a high scoring affair.
This may have the most. What's the other? Is this the game with the most goals in it?
It has to be. I mean, Wolves give up the most. They're scoring right now.
Yeah, Tottenham Fulham maybe, but no, probably not. This might be the game with the most goals in it this weekend.
Let's see. Yeah, I'm looking at the over unders right now to see like where Vegas lies on it. Over to it. Over. Oh no, they have it sitting at about 3 at the baseline. I would take the over 3.
I would take the over.
Yeah.
Again,
right
none
there.
of these are necessarily official bets this week. I just don't like.
Yeah, just looking at the
stats
stats
soccer,
here.
enjoy the time with the family. Enjoy the
That's
American
right.
football.
That's right. Okay, so average goals conceded per match: Wolves 2.33, Bournemouth 1.42. Both not good. Both only have one clean sheets.
The Wolves got 11 of their goals allowed came in 2 games, right?
I know.
6 to Chelsea and 5 to somebody else. I don't remember who.
Yeah, 6 to. So their biggest one was 4-1 over Fulham, and then 6-2 Chelsea. So 6 on them.
Right.
So Bournemouth has only given up 3 goals. That's their most they've given up in a game this season. Interesting. And their biggest one was 3-1 against Southampton. No surprise there at home. I expect this just to kind of be a shootout, but I would kind of lean towards the Wolves a little bit being at home and their form recently. Fair enough?
Yeah, I would lean towards Wolves at home. I like what I'm seeing right now. There's some rumors that they may try to flip uh, Cunha in the Mateus Cunha
Mm-hmm.
in the January window, and so they kind of need him to be on form if they're going to do that. There's some talk that Spurs are interested in him, so we'll see.
You ready for the Battle of London? The Battle of London with West Ham United hosting Arsenal at London Stadium.
Yeah, not the battle we wanted though.
Yeah. Kudos to West Ham. They got the win they needed over Newcastle. Obviously, they're in better form. Jared Bowen is probably in his best form I've seen him in a long time. However,
Yeah,
Arsenal's just got back healthy and they look like a well-oiled machine and they don't have to travel very far.
yeah,
Yes,
they
this
got
is a
Odegaard
heated
back. That completely changes their team.
this is a
Completely.
heated rivalry. These teams don't like each other. If you
The
haven't
Gunners
seen
and the Hammers.
if
Who would have thought?
if you haven't seen Green Street Hooligans, you know what I'm talking about.
Yes,
West Ham plus
excellent
600.
Elijah Wood movie. By the way,
Great one. Arsenal minus 210. A little bit low for me for Arsenal. I like understand West Ham just had a really big win, but I think Arsenal wins this, and
yeah,
I 2-0, maybe 2-1.
yeah.
Maybe they could put
Oh,
3 up
late
there.
for West Ham.
We'll see how it all plays out. Chelsea at home against Aston Villa. Aston Villa, a team I was high on to repeat, not looking so good right now. As you said, they have one win in their last 6. Now they get to head to Chelsea. This is going to be a tough. The next month for Aston Villa is brutal.
Yes,
Between Champions League, between midweeks, between the teams they have to play.
right. Because don't forget that this weekend ends on Sunday. Right, this match week ends on Sunday.
And they start again on Tuesday, right?
They
Or
start
Wednesday.
again on Tuesday with Ipswich Crystal Palace and
Yeah,
West Ham Leicester and Southampton Chelsea on Wednesday, and so we get midweek games next week. And by the way, Villa plays Brentford next week, which is
that's gonna
not the
be it.
easiest midweek.
It's a tough. That's a tough one too because Aston
Yes,
Villa's giving up goals right now, and that's not good.
correct. So
Um,
they got a lot of stuff on their plate right now. I
I
would say Chelsea wins
I
that.
I do think they play hard. I think there's a lot of goals in this one as well. I think it's going to be like a 3-2.
Yeah, this was my second pick for most goals
Yeah,
of the weekend because Chelsea and Villa, it's kind of an electric, wide open playing style right now.
correct.
I would take Chelsea to win.
Me too. But expect a lot of goals. Okay, Man United, they get a gift now. They get home, even though they're terrible at home. Actually, garbage at home this year. I think they've given up some of the most goals at home. Man U hosting Everton. Everton has been playing defensively really, really good lately. They're not allowing goals. However, they're not scoring them either. That was the problem. The beginning of the year, they couldn't score goals. However, they were giving up a ton. And now they're not giving up any, but also not scoring still.
Correct.
So I think Man U wins this one. I think it's the first win for Amarim, and I think it's going to be like a 2-0 type of game. Is Everton
Yeah,
just
Everton.
Everton offensively just looks so bad
If Dominic Calvert-Lewin isn't putting the ball in, I don't know where it's coming from.
from no one. I wonder what I do have to check the lines. I bet it's going to sit at 2. It's like where the
I would guess that seems fair. That seems
yeah, under 2.5 is plus 110. Over is minus 138. So they're thinking 3. I think this is a 2-0 win.
I would take the under 2.5.
I would too. I would too. I would too. I just don't see
I don't see where the goals are coming from for
Everton
Everton,
at all. Yeah.
and I don't think Man U is good enough to just open a can of 3-0 on Everton right now.
Not yet.
They
Yeah.
just drew with Ipswich, for God's sakes.
Yes, that's very true. Man United does have 5 clean sheets so far this year. Everton has 4.
I don't know that I would have guessed that Everton has 4, but I guess that's that Sean Dyche defense that shows up
I think
every so often.
and I believe it's 4. Those 4 have all come in like the last 5 or 6. Like they're really playing.
Schedule.
Yeah. So
Schedule. They played a bunch of teams that can't score either. So
correct.
it's not like they kept Liverpool out of the out of the net.
I mean, these two teams, obviously, I know they're bigger names one way, but if you look at their stats and everything this season, they're mirror images of each other.
Correct. They are very. I mean, they are deservedly in the bottom.
They are. They are mirror images of each other, of teams that don't give up a lot of goals, but also do not score a lot of goals. So I like the under of 2.5, and I think Man United. This is a 2-0 Man United win. My dog agrees in the background. So there you have it.
My kid's interrupted.
We're good. I'm leaving it all in, by the way.
It's a holiday. It's a holiday edition.
Kids aren't at school, people. Kids aren't at school. They're off for the whole week. When we were kids, we had to go all the way through Wednesday.
Yeah, we went. I think I got a half day on Wednesday, and then
what is this? They get the whole week?
I mean, I kept my kid out. I kept my kids out yesterday on Tuesday because we already had family in town, and I had a full work day.
We had the whole week. They're off of the week. Yeah, no school.
Technically, my kids are off all day. Like they didn't show up. Like there's no school today. Then obviously none on Thanksgiving, and then none on Friday, and then they're back Monday. Yeah. We let my kids play hooky on Tuesday because I had a full day of work. It's the only day I couldn't clear my schedule. So I had the grandparents take them for the day, and I just sat home and got stuff done.
Yeah, well, there you go.
But they're here.
California logic for you. Speaking of played hooky, Fulham played hooky last week when they didn't show up to the game against the Wolves at home.
Transition.
They got absolutely annihilated at home, which is really rare for Fulham at Craven Cottage to lose or not.
Yeah, that was one of the two games we totally misread last week.
Yeah,
and Liverpool were the two.
Yeah, we were just... and for a reason, but they get a reward. And the reward is you get to go to Tottenham and play Spurs, who just thrashed Man City. Now, if you watch the broadcast of the game,
yes,
one thing about the Spurs is they're a roller coaster of a ride. They will come out
record too. I mean,
they will absolutely destroy a team, and then next week they will absolutely blow it.
They literally have one lost in their last 6 games.
So there's a trend here. Are you willing to? I know it's your team, but are you willing to take Fulham in this one because of that trend, or do you think Spurs have found something? And James Madison is playing out of his mind right now.
The lineup they played in Man City, where they got Kulo and James Madison in the same lineup because Brennan Johnson was on the bench. I think they roll with that again. I still have questions about the center backs. They did keep Holland pretty well contained. There was a couple of wide open shots where Holland just missed. But if they let somebody past, Dragoshin and Davies, you got Forrester in goal now, not Vicario, and I have zero faith in that guy to stop things.
All right, here's my philosophy on this game, okay?
Yes.
It's Thanksgiving week.
Yes.
It's going to be Thanksgiving weekend. The 4th president of the United States of America was James Madison. He was part of the founders of America. Give me Spurs in this one big, baby. Let's go.
Because they have James Madison with 2 Ds.
They just added a D, but yeah. I love it. There's my.
They should, right? Yeah. They should win, but then again, they also shouldn't be like where they're at in the table. Like,
would we be surprised if they lost? No. Would we be surprised if they won 5-0? No.
Would we be surprised if they drew a little bit?
Probably yes. Actually, yes. I would be surprised if this game was a draw. That would be the surprise.
Yeah, because they haven't drawn since the first game of the year against Leicester.
Yep.
Everything else has been win, loss, win, loss, win, loss. I don't think they've put together 2 straight wins this season.
No, it's not. It could happen this week, though, and it should. It should happen on paper.
Should. In a London derby.
They have James Madison on Thanksgiving weekend. They should win.
Yeah. Is that the second London derby of the weekend? It is the second London derby of the weekend.
There's always 2 or 3 every weekend nowadays.
Well, there's like 7 teams in London, so it's impossible.
Would you count Brentford as London? Yeah, you would. It's kind of the outskirts, right?
I mean, it's the outskirts. It's a suburb of.
How does Brentford have so many fans when they literally are like the square, like half my city here in Fresno? I don't get it.
I don't know. I don't know how Brighton's the 7th most watched team in Europe either. I don't get that either.
It's crazy. Maybe all those American Express users get free access. I don't know. But
they've been advertising in Kissimmee, Florida. That's how.
There you go. All those black cards. Moving on to the game of the week, the big one. the one that could determine everything this soon in the season, potentially.
I mean, it looked a whole lot better 12 weeks ago.
It looked like it. I have a feeling, I just have this feeling that Man City is going to win this game. I have that just...
You have a feeling that they're going to figure it out against the best defense in the Premier League?
They're going to
figure out how to score goals against the best defense.
I've never seen Pep Guardiola like this ever.
I mean, this
even at Bayern, he wasn't doing this.
This run of losses has never happened for him in his career, regardless of level.
Yeah, even when he was coaching his kids. I don't know what to think of this, except for I've seen this before. This is do or die for Man City.
Yep.
However, Liverpool has built their team this year to beat one team. Liverpool's team is built to beat Man City. We talked about this last week with Van Dijk and Konate in the middle. The two big guys with speed who can stop who? Holland. You got Robinson and you got Trent Alexander-Arnold, who will probably be out. So you probably Tsimikas could go there, or Connor Bradley. Speed on the outsides, but defensive midfielders now who have come in last year, had their first year, in McAllister and Soberslai. Why are they there? To stop Man City in the midfield. Literally, Klopp built this team to stop Man City and gave it to Slot, who plays a better type of football to beat Man City.
I don't see Man City winning.
I don't either, but I just have a feeling it's going to happen. If the script was written and Liverpool wins this game, no one's watching the Premier League as much. Like, it's over, like, right? So the only chance Man City has is to win this game. Like, you can't draw either. You have to win this game.
I get that. However, the midfield right now for Man City is so bad, and Liverpool's midfield is so good.
Yeah, and deep.
I think that's
and Jota's back. So all the forwards are healthy for Liverpool. So they're going to be subbing in. You got obviously Salah, but you also have Diaz. You got Jota, and you got Nunez still, and you still got.
Now, did we see Southampton putting up 2?
Gakpo. You still got Gakpo too.
Anything's possible, right? That's why you play the game. And
now
you're correct. If Premier League had their druthers, they would.
Let's be real. They did put up 2. They did put up 2, and one of them was a brilliant counterattack. The other one was a penalty that shouldn't have been a penalty that was blocked by Kelleher that just happened to go right back to him to put it in. So they had to earn that second one by a lot of things happening. It wasn't like that was
correct.
And by the way, those were the only 2 times that Southampton were in the box the entire game. So they did. That doesn't normally happen.
I mean, if the Premier League had their druthers, Man City's winning this game because it keeps Man City 5 points behind Liverpool. That's only 2 games back rather than an entire month of
anything but a win for Man City is a disaster. It is. A draw is a disaster.
Well, it still keeps them within 3. It still keeps them within 3 match weeks of Liverpool.
Yeah. It's true, but are those wins or draws, right? That's what you have to look at, and it puts them at two wins and 2 draws.
It'd be 3 wins to Liverpool's losses, but Liverpool's not
going
the entire season with 1 loss.
No, they'll lose again. Yeah, they will lose again, but will they lose twice?
Yeah,
I mean,
they got to play Forest again.
Arsenal again.
They got to play Forest again.
Okay.
Who last year, by the way, nearly got a 0-0 draw in 99 minutes against Liverpool, who at the time was still fighting for the title.
But Liverpool does still have Chelsea, Arsenal, Man City twice. They have to play Man U again later in the season. That's going to be an interesting game now.
Right, when Amorim should have things figured out.
Mm-hmm. I'm not worried about Aston Villa anymore because they can't play Liverpool. They're not on the same page.
Should be worried about Forest, though.
I'm not worried about Forest.
We beat you.
Yeah, you should have. But yeah, I get it. But Okay, so you take those games. Liverpool would have to
They're going to play
lose.
Tottenham, right?
Yes. So
Tot-
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6
Twice?
games against top tier, 7 games still Liverpool has to play. Now they could easily lose all 7 of those games, right? I doubt it.
I
There's going to
doubt it.
be they'll get a few wins, maybe half 3 wins, 3 draws, and 2 losses
Yeah,
in those games.
Liverpool is clearly in the driver's seat. I'm
Yeah.
just saying we're a third of the way through the season. Injuries and transfer windows are going to happen.
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. And a team this far ahead at this point has never not won. But things
That's
were different
true.
back then, and we had just talked about on the show before we finish how even the mid-table is. The reason why teams before early late 90s 2000s, it was really only a 2-3 horse race,
Right.
which we thought we've had recently. But what this year is showing to us is that any one of these teams from right above Everton up can beat each other on any given day. And that's going to weed out the field, not just for Liverpool, but for everyone else. So I wouldn't be surprised if we are overlooking a Chelsea that could possibly be a number 2 or get there.
They all have money to make moves in January.
Arsenal is healthy again, and they could make some moves. They could go on a huge winning streak. We've seen it in the last couple of years. Man City has De Bruyne finally coming back healthy. They're going to make some moves in the transfer window. They need to figure out some sort of other scoring option up front besides Haaland to give him a rest. But anything is still possible. And it's just crazy. I've never seen such a muddled table in the middle ever this far in. So it's going to be a really fun year. You think Liverpool's winning the game?
I think Liverpool wins.
Okay. I'm not giving a pick because I don't want to jinx it. But I wouldn't be surprised if Man City wins. I
don't think they rout them, but I think Liverpool has I think eventually the depth that Liverpool has comes into play.
I just named
it's
4.
It's like when a mid-major hangs with one of those blue bloods in college football or college basketball, and then like the last quarter of the game, the depth just
to me, it comes down about the scoring chances and from where. Who's going to be the scoring chances from Man City? Obviously, Haaland. But you got to give him the ball. He's going to be up there with 2 towers on defense. Cole Palmer, he hasn't been at form. Grealish is up and down. Liverpool, Jota, Salah, Nunez, Gakpo, Luis Diaz. 5.
Don't forget about Curtis Jones.
And you got that midfield of Szoboszlai, who could put one in from the midfield.
Yes.
McAllister, Curtis Jones.
Virgil van Dijk on a corner.
And Konate on a corner. We've seen it this year, too. This team is just loaded and deep, and it's just going to be it's going to be tough for any team to catch them really this year. It's going to take some injuries and take some things, which will always happen. Trent Alexander-Arnold, that's a big injury. He's out, right? So that side, you're going to have a young Connor Bradley in there who is playing, way above his age right now, and he did last year. But there's opportunity there. That's Cole Palmer's side, right? Maybe Cole Palmer can exploit that, get a ball in once in a while to Haaland. Maybe Haaland can actually get around Virgil van Dijk and Konate. I don't know. But they're going to have to do it more than once is what I'm trying to say to win this game. They're going to have to score more than 1 goals to win this game.
Probably. Although Forrest only had to score once.
But it's going to be a lot of fun, and I look forward to it, Matt Sells. I hope you have a wonderful Thanksgiving with your family. Enjoy the food. I know I will. I don't have to cook and host this year, and I am so excited for that.
Fantastic. Right after this, I got to go brine the turkey.
Yep. See, not me this year. No.
And start the soup.
I'm bringing a cream cheese pie and some stuffing and calling it a day. Well, maybe some cranberry sauce.
So I like technically dressing because it's outside the bird.
Correct. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, but I make it from scratch. Yeah. I put it on the smoker actually.
Very nice. That's where my turkey's going.
As it should. Everyone wants the deep fried turkey. I saw this thing, deep fry or oven. I said neither. You smoke it.
Yeah. My grill will cook a 16-pound turkey in 90 minutes.
Yeah, it's about what mine does too.
At 350. It's not even like we're super cooking it. It's just
nice and moist. I put a little I take a can and put a little orange juice in the can and some other, put it in the butt to keep it nice and moist in the middle.
See, I brine mine for like 18 hours.
See, I don't brine it. I do that, but then I take the skin and I do like garlic butter
Then
and underneath
after I
it too.
brine it, I put garlic, but like herb butter under the skin.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll put like an apple, lemon, and an onion in it
Inside
while it smokes
in the cavity.
in the cavity.
Just giving everyone our Thanksgiving turkey preparations. I don't have to do it this year, but now I kind of want to. Damn it,
man! This is people complain. I'm like, I enjoy it. Like, I
no,
get
I
to
love
experiment.
cooking.
I get
Yeah.
to try stuff. I get to try to perfect it.
I think it's the hassle of just having everyone over, having to clean, having to do all that. I just like that not having that this year.
We have it down to a like I know exactly when things are going in the oven. I know exactly what temps
Yeah.
and how long they're cooking, and getting an additional thing that you can cook the bird in saves an entire day of cooking.
Yep.
We used to cook the sides on Wednesday and then cook the turkey Thursday, and then you warm the sides back up while the turkey's resting. I'm like, I don't want to do that. That's 2 days of you got to nail stuff for 2 days in a row. I don't want to do
no one
that.
likes that. No one likes that. All
I
day
want
of
to, like, have everybody over Thursday. They're chilling, watching the parades and the football game and the dog show. And
oh yeah, the dog show. Forgot about that too.
Yes.
Fun.
It'd be more entertaining than the Cowboys Giants.
Oh God, who's even? Don't remind me. Maybe I do want to cook. Can I help so I don't have to watch this game?
I mean, even Crystal Palace Newcastle will be more entertaining than Giants Cowboys.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes. Even Nottingham Forest Ipswich will be more entertaining.
Yes.
That's going to be a fun one. All right, everyone. Enjoy your Thanksgiving. Shout out to our boy and also named after the fourth president of the United States, James Madison, who will be on the cover of this thumbnail for this show this week for sure. Happy birthday to him last week too as well.
Yes.
What a great game. What a great memory he'll have forever. And he gave a shirt to a little boy in the crowd. And
yes, he did.
I teared up a little bit. It was great. Enjoy your Thanksgiving. Enjoy your Black Friday. We're having a Black Friday sale. This show is free. So watch it before the games. There you go. There's our sale. Free. Keeping it EPL. Have a happy holidays, everyone. We'll see you next week in a weird, chaotic way where we're going to be going over some games that happened and going over games that will happen soon. It's going to be crazy. So enjoy. Come with us. Come along this ride of the EPL.